It's been a while. Welcome back. I figured I wanted to make videos that I really cared about, so here's one I just can't shake off. The PS5. If you're a gamer, chances are you're interested in buying a PS5 and can't get hold of one, and your best bet is to pay a scalper. Well, I'm here to tell you that you really should not make that mistake, and here's why. I'm going to start off with the reasons why you shouldn't worry one bit about getting a PS5 right this moment at the end of 2020 and overpaying for it. At the end, I'll tell you why you should try to place an order when you do get a chance, but only at normal prices. I wouldn't recommend that you pay anything over a sticker for the PS5 right now. There's only 3 reasons I could sincerely come up with, and I'm going to tell you them from the beginning. If you're interested, keep watching to find my reasoning. Number 1, there are no real PS5 games at launch. Number 2, there will be no real PS5 games for at least several months. I estimate between 3 and 6 months. Number 3, the performance boost with PS4 games is not universal yet. We're kind of used to product refreshes once a year that blow the last model out of the water, like iPhones, watches, and disposable tech in general, which all technology is becoming these days. And so with gaming, it's just not feasible to keep changing the hardware every year. You run into compatibility issues. Games keep getting kneecapped by the previous hardware, and you enter a vicious cycle of never keeping up with the hardware required for the latest games to run like they should. It's akin to PC gaming, which I've not yet delved into as a hobby, but instead I've stuck with the consoles so far, and I'm pretty happy about that. It's not to say that I don't have intentions. With sim racing, I really do want to start getting into the PC world, but I just haven't gotten into it yet. The first point I make is that there are no real games for the PS5, and that's just a fact. In my opinion, a real PS5 game is an experience that fully utilizes the hardware available of the next generation. The difference is stark when these changes are applied. And I just don't think that any games today, none of the launch titles besides Astro's Playroom, are really doing that. I wanted to point to one historical example to illustrate this point, and it's on previous gen hardware, because obviously we don't have any current gen hardware to make the comparison. And that example is The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2. On the PS3, The Last of Us was a truly revolutionary game. I remember being in utter disbelief at the quality of the game experience from a graphics point of view, voice acting, gameplay, and immersion, everything, all boxes were checked. Well, that game was released just months prior to the release of the PS4, and that ended up with a remaster on the PS4 actually. Think about that. The game that in my view was the most advanced on the PS3 was released at the end of its life cycle. The same thing happened with The Last of Us Part 2, which was released months before the end of the PS4 life cycle, last June I believe. Let's look at both of these running on the PS5. You have The Last of Us remastered from PS3 to PS4, runs better also on the PS4 Pro and inherently on the PS5. And then you have The Last of Us Part 2, which is a PS4 title that utilizes all of the tech of the PS4. And so we can take a look at the real differences here. If we take a look at The Last of Us Part 1 and compare it to The Last of Us Part 2, there's a stark difference in the textures, the amount of detail, the kind of animations that can be used, and so on. And that's a function of the limitations of the PS3, for which it was developed at the time. There wasn't as much memories, the processors can only do so much, and those kind of limitations can kneecap the development for a future console. Imagine that The Last of Us Part 2 was developed for both consoles, the PS3 and the PS4. Then there would be the limitations adhered to so that the title can run on the PS3 as well. Maybe they're improved on the PS4, but the core development would have to take into account the PS3's limitations. And this leads me to my main point, which is that until developers ditch the PS4 completely and make games exclusively on the PS5, we will not see games that are truly what we are seeking with this new hardware generation. To further my point, what I understand to be the killer app of the PS5 is in the form of data transfer speeds. Among others, of course, there's better processors and so on, and better memory, but then it stands to reason that any game that takes advantage of this technology will inherently be unable to be run on a PS4 because the PS4 cannot cope with that kind of requirement. It's just not a graphical advantage, but a complete change in how a game might be designed and implemented due to the hardware improvement. That point alone tells me that any game that is developed for both the PS4 and the PS5 will be kneecapped by the PS4. It might not always be true, but that's the impression I'm getting. And considering that there are over 118 million PS4s out there in the wild, making it the second best-selling non-handheld console ever only behind the PS2, a true legend in console sales, it's a stretch to think that Sony is quitting on the PS4 just yet. You might consider Astro's Playroom a PS5 game and Demon's Souls 2, but although they really are, Astro's Playroom is a showcase game, despite how brilliant it is and despite how much I actually love it. It's not a blockbuster worth buying the PS5 for. It's something you get to use to appreciate what you've just bought, temporarily. And Demon's Souls is a very niche game as well. It caters mainly to masochists, of which I am not one. Which leads me to point number 2. There will be no real PS5 games for at least 3 to 6 months from today, at the earliest. Almost all of the exciting PS5 exclusive titles are either slated for 2021 or are PS4, PS5 enhanced titles. It's just not clear that Sony is ready to ditch the PS4. Simple. And I don't blame them for it, as there's going to be several years lag between launch and enough PS5s in the wild to entice developers to develop a PS5 exclusive. It's a simple economic problem. If you're a developer, what incentive do you have to develop for a console that only has, let's say, several million units out there, even 20 million units out there, as opposed to a console, the PS4, that has over 100 million units out in consumers' hands? Better yet, why not both? If you're the first to market with a blockbuster-ish game like Spider-Man, and I say ish because no matter how you slice it, it's not really a PS5 game. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for it, but I didn't find Miles Morales to be anything more than the difference between a PS4 and PS4 Pro enhanced title. But now from a PS4 Pro to a PS5 enhanced title. That's it in my opinion. To get back to that point, you're going to sell a copy likely with every console since it's the only thing available. You know, there's a little bit of ray tracing, people are going nuts for it, and so it's likely that once you buy the PS5 and realize that there's no games out there, well, might as well buy Miles Morales. The next comers have to face faded expectations and a reluctance to just buy a showcase game. By the time the launch is over, you really do need a large audience to maximize odds of selling. That circles back to the addressable audience size. Build a PS4/PS5 game and you're marketing to over 100 million potential buyers. Build a PS5 exclusive and you're only able to sell about 1 to 20 million in the first year, let's say. The math just doesn't check out from a business point of view. Let's take a look at some of these launch titles that we have out today. You have Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Well, not really an exclusive, just better load times and frame rates because this is a PS4 and PS5 title. Call of Duty Black Ops, same deal. It's a PS4, PS5 enhanced title. Yeah, there are better effects, ray tracing and so on, but it's not a PS5 exclusive. It's not like you're missing out on much. Demon's Souls, like I said, it's a niche PS5 title, so it's a really nice game to buy if you're into that niche, but if you're not, then you're really not going to enjoy that experience much. Miles Morales, and like I said previously, I just don't think it's that groundbreaking at all. I don't understand what the buzz is about. I don't consider it a true PS5 title. It's just an improved PS4 Pro or PS4 title. Sackboy, same as the above, PS4, PS5 title. There's really not much to say here. And that's, point 2. You're not really going to miss out on anything groundbreaking at this time, nor in the coming few months. If I could add to that a little bit, Astro's Playroom, I played that through 100% of it out of pure enjoyment. I enjoyed every minute of it. That's the only PS5 game I can really think of today. But it's a really short game. It's a showcase. You're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of replayability, but it's going to be over soon and you're going to want more, of which you're going to have none. So lastly, point 3 is that not all PS4 games will run with the PS5's added horsepower. The one game that really does benefit from this is Doom Eternal, which I'm really thankful for. It really runs like a hot knife through butter. As soon as I put it on the PS5, the thing was running smooth, 4K, 60 FPS, no dips. Oh, it was amazing. I found a true performance game from the PS4 Pro to the PS5 on Doom Eternal. But unfortunately, that's not universal across every game because, unlocking the frame rate cap on a lot of these games might not be as easy as just going in and changing a setting. For some it might be, for some it's not. So I don't think we're going to see a lot of it immediately. I booted The Last of Us Part 2 and I expected 60 FPS, and honestly, I didn't get that. It's essentially identical to the PS4 Pro title with better load times. So while that's all coming, it's not immediate and it's not universal. So not every developer has the resources to go back to many old games and put the updates and improve them for the few PS5 owners today who really just want to play the old games with improved performance. And I am nitpicking, and if you notice that I was nitpicking, it's true, because it's tough to find problems with the PS5. These are the ones that really came to my mind. But the point is, in the message, after using the PS5 and feeling quite let down, not by the system itself, but being let down by the lack of titles that can help, can showcase what the PS5 can do, this is something that really is worth considering. If you're gonna go out and pay a scalper, or somebody reselling the PS5, double its price, or even 1.5 times its price, you're gonna get the system, you're gonna boot it up, you're gonna play Astro's Playroom, and you're gonna have this emptiness come over you. There isn't much really to do. You're gonna experience improved PS4 titles today, mainly. Maybe in the future, in the coming months, as some of the nice titles start getting released, you're gonna start really experiencing the PS5 the way it was meant to be. But today, you're gonna plug it in, exactly what happened to me. I plugged it in, got super excited, and actually resorted to Astro's Playroom. I was looking for everything else until I had no choice but to check out Astro's Playroom. So with all that being said, I definitely do recommend that any PlayStation gamer, if you get the opportunity to buy one at its normal price or by reserving one, waiting even 1 or 2 months for it, I would say go ahead, do it. If you're a PlayStation gamer, the change is large enough. You are going to be able to experience all the previous titles you've been playing on the PS4, and they're going to run better. Yes, not universally, but with time I suspect that it's going to get more and more good. So I would recommend it. Should you get one today, despite all of the scalping efforts and people taking us on a ride? Well, I would say no. Avoid it completely. You're not missing out on much. Just chill out, wait it out for a bit, and then once you get the opportunity, definitely go and buy one. It's gonna be great. And thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful and enjoyable, and I look forward to making the next.